Yo, what's up, world? You're now tuned into the Spiritual Gems podcast. I'm your host, DJ, and today I'm with my special co-host, B is in the building. Say what's up, B.
Hey, people. Hey, what's up, fam? We are finally together doing this thing, which we've been talking about for forever. So I'm excited to be here today.
Yes. I'm excited to do this as well. So for those of you who are new to the channel is new, obviously. Again, I'm DJ. I am into just about everything spiritual, been on a journey for a minute, and felt my calling is to communicate to the world and help others heal while I heal myself. And so that's what I'm here to do. And this is just me walking in my purpose. And so B and I, we've been talking about doing a podcast together for some time now. We're finally getting it done and stepping into our power, which I love. And so today we're going to be talking about 2024 and our predictions for the year using some numerology and some astrology. And so B, if you guys don't know, she has her own separate channel on YouTube, very, very fire channel, Elevation 44, where she talks all things astrology, and other guidance as well. She's really dope. So please, link will be in the description to tap in and follow, and vice versa if you're coming from her channel. So we're super excited to have you, and yeah, so let's get right into it. Let's start with 2024. So from a numerological perspective, you break down 2024 by adding the digits together, and you ultimately end up with 8. And that typically gives you the energy of that particular year. So last year, 2023, was 2 plus 2, which is 4, plus 3, which is 7. That was a 7 year. So 7 years, as we all know from what we all just experienced and just got dragged from.
We got a spiritual beat down in this
Yeah,
year.
it's
Yeah,
about spirituality, inner spirituality,
yeah.
things being challenged in that way. And so a lot of people probably found a new sense of spirituality, found themselves. A lot of things were revealed about themselves that they weren't prepared for, breakups, job changes, health issues, everything inner was coming up. So a lot of 7 is about the inner world. And so that came up a lot. And spirituality. And so now we're heading into our 8 year, which represents power and abundance and so much more. So if I were to give my predictions of this year, I would say, 8 is the number of karma. So and abundance, right? So the way I interpreted that just intuitively, that lets me know that it's going to be very important this year for the energy that you put out. It's going to be multiplied. So if you are putting out a lot of negativity, a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of doubt and fear, you're going to get that back 10 times fold. If you're putting out positivity, hopefulness, abundance, feeling rich, feeling healthy, feeling wealthy, you're going to get that energy back to you karmically in a good way, right? 10 times fold. So to me, when I think about this year, it's going to be a lot about stepping into our power too, with being that um, 8 represents power. And if I'm not mistaken, the I think 8 relates to Scorpio energy and maybe Saturn as well. Is that
Yeah.
about right?
Yes, so I just actually put a video out on the numerology breakdown behind an 8 year. And you're absolutely right. I tell people to understand what an 8 year is. You have to understand where you're coming from. So you have to understand what the 7 year is and what you experienced in the 7 year. Because all the years, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 9, they flow into each other, and they're designed that way purposely, right? So in a 7 year, it's a cycle. So basically, it's a 9 year cycle. And in the 7 year, we experience a lot of testing, um, to test our resilience, to test our faith. It's a lot of like inner struggles that we deal with. It is challenges, but on a different level. It's not really so much about the external; it's all about the internal. And so a lot of the things that you learn in the 7 year are to, the lessons and the different challenges that come in aren't just there to just aggravate you and just to mess with you in life and just to make your life miserable. It's there so that you can learn certain things so that you can take that and now implement it in the 8 year, because the 8 year is about taking the lessons learned. And now, because an 8 year is fruitful, so it's like taking the seeds of what you got in the 7 year, planting it in the 8 year to see like the crops come to fruition. Now,
Yeah.
what seeds are you planting is in important. So in an 8 year, yes, it's tied to abundance. You hear a lot about an 8 year being very fruitful. But the thing about an 8 year's fruitfulness, it just depends on how much you're willing to put into it. If you put nothing into it, you're going to get more of nothing. It is a very expansive energy, right? It is Saturn ruled. So it is coming with responsibility. It's coming with discipline, hard work, accomplishment, all of these things. Saturn is big gains, but only after you do the work. Saturn is not going to give you, it's not like Jupiter energy. Like Jupiter will expand everything, right? Jupiter will expand things for good or for bad, depending on what you're focused on. But
Yeah.
Saturn is only interested in rewarding you out of what you've done. So when you said, hey, it's a big year about karma, Saturn is about karma, right? Like, what have you done to get XYZ result, right? So yeah, it's all of the things that you said. It's absolutely. It's also a year that's fast moving. And in the last year, I mean, the last video that I put out about this numerology breakdown of 8, I tried to show the tarot cards, and I showed all the tarot cards that associated with the number 8. And the reason why I show that is because you can see really the breakdown of what the 8 energy entails through those tarot cards. Like the 8 of Wands is fast moving energy. Things will move quickly, right? And you can be on a train to chaos, more confusion, more whatever that is not so helpful to you, or you can be on the train track that's going in the direction of the way you want things to go. So you have to be very, very intentional about how you're using your energy. Not only that, the hard work is not associated with physical hard work. It's here. We're getting busy mentally. So we're coming out of a time where it was more so focused on kind of like the tangible, earthly, physical matters. And we're moving into a time where it is really about what is not seen, what is intangible, right? So it's your thoughts, the ideas, the energy, like that type of thing. Everything is moving into more of a spiritual or like intangible realm. So, and we're starting to see how that's taking shape, even with little things like money, right? We look at crypto. We look at crypto. Crypto is not physical. Can you go touch a Bitcoin? You can't.
Sure can't.
So it's looking at little things like that and seeing how we're transitioning and taking note of that. So if you're trying to hold on to the old, it's going to be a rough time for you. You're going to have to evolve with the new, because this all is it's moving fast. It's going to move fast.
Yeah. And if anything that we should have learned last year is to learn to let go, release control.
And one of the things I'll say is the 8 year will give you more of what you don't want if you don't know what you want. So the 7 year was to show you what's not working anymore.
You think about 8 as the executive of a business. Like that's what the 8 energy is. You know what I'm saying?
It's so that leadership energy.
That leadership energy. So it's time for us to take control of our lives, right? Now that we've had this space and time to really reflect inwardly, which I hope that y'all did last year.
Yeah.
And really realize like, yo, this isn't working for me. I need to make some changes. Now you get to box up this year and take control of your life in the right ways, in the positive ways that will work for you.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to see some of these placements and to see how it supports a lot of what we're talking about. Yeah. I love the energy so far that we're talking about, because I think a lot of people are having this conversation about abundance and not really giving the two halves of the story.
You're exactly right. The 8 is perfectly symmetrical. It is balance. It's the infinity symbol, so it shows the cycle, right? But it also represents the polarities too, right? Like you said, if it's perfectly
Mhm.
symmetrical and we folded it, it would be equal on both sides, right? So
Right.
you always going to have the polarity to balance out the other side. And so balance is a huge word going into an 8 year for 2024. That balance, the inner testing, the inner balance that we were working on last year, now we're
Yeah.
going to have to integrate it with the outer. We're going to see external power and strength and different things happening on a global stage. We're also going to be seeing it happening in our individual lives, but don't forget it's about an inner power activation as well. So we have to use those simultaneously in order for this all to harmonize and work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's power. I would say, like you said, fearlessness. It's going to move fast at times, so it's going to be important for us to ground ourselves in this year.
Mhm.
And it's an exciting time, but it is a time to put in that work. It is a
Yeah.
time to put in that work. It's not gonna Your rewards are not just gonna come to you out of the sky. you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta put in that work. And that looks different for everybody, but
Yeah.
that's really the name of the game for
Yeah.
2024.
Thank you for bringing that up and putting
Yeah.
in that work, which you said, relates to Saturn. When I think about Saturn, it's that military parent, that military dad that's like, that big dad energy. It's like, all right, like, get your stuff together, young man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like
gotta
you better wake up at
wake
5
up.
a.m. and get out there and start running on
Yeah, you know what I'm
on
saying?
the
Time to put that
right,
work in.
right,
Ain't no
exactly.
sleeping in bed. Like you got to. It's time to do the work. But if you do the work, the rewards. Oh my goodness,
Yes,
it's about to blow up. It's really
right,
about to blow up. So let's
right.
get it, y'all. Let's do it. We got this.
Hmm.
So all right, great. So I think it's a great moment to segue into the alignments of the year. So what do you have for us as first major alignments?
Well, like I said, it's a year based off of a lot of air and fire energy.
Mm,
Okay. So 2024, we're starting off with January,
mhm,
January 20th, Pluto
mm,
moving into Aquarius. So we got a little taste of Pluto in Aquarius in 2023. It moved briefly into Aquarius in 2023, but it's going in there into Aquarius again. So it's been in Capricorn for a while, just kind of honestly shifting our structures,
mm,
breaking down our structures. And I want to say it entered in somewhere around 2007, 2008.
mhm.
And you saw what happened from 2008 to now, right? In terms of
Yeah,
businesses, the way we do things,
economy crashes.
yes, like everything. So it almost like just was going through and bulldozing our our economy, our structures, our foundations, like anything that was not built on anything solid. It's just kind of bulldozed, transformed, and like was tearing things down, right? And
Yeah.
testing, challenging things. So just think of all we experienced during that time. Now with Pluto moving into Aquarius, Capricorn is very material. It's about the physical, right? It's about the physical world. It's earth energy. Aquarius is air energy. Aquarius and Capricorn are ruled by Saturn. So this is still
Mm,
Saturn energy, but it's the other side of the Saturn energy, right?
wow.
So the Saturn energy that's tied to Pluto and Capricorn was very about the material world, about power and domination from the standpoint of acquiring material things, physical things.
Yeah.
That's that earth energy, right? Now with us moving to focusing on Aquarius or the age of air and that air energy with Pluto moving there, this Saturnian energy is the other side, which is the intangible. It's not the physical stuff anymore. It's
Mm,
it's a different type of power. It's shifting kind of
wow.
like to what you said before. It's like the inner power. So it's more so not about like kind of this top down structures we wanted to create in the past where we were trying to have a few people rule over many or to acquire most of it and everybody
Uh-huh.
else is fighting for the
Got you.
bottom. This is kind of more of an equal spreading.
I 120% agree. As you were speaking, what came to my mind and I wanted to add, when I think about the structure, the previous structure, Capricorn is about like organization and business. So top down, power from the top down structure. And I feel like Aquarius is the opposite, right? It's everyone on an even playing field. You know what I mean? You're not above me. You don't run me. You don't run my choices, right? Like because it's also Aquarius is the sign of I know. You know, it's a very mental sign. It's an air sign. You know what I mean? It's also masculine in nature, not male or female, but masculine in nature too. So there's still an aspect of doing there as well. But a lot of this is going to be what you feel in your mind, in your mental space. And when I also think about Aquarius, I think about revolution,
Mm-hmm.
right? Aquariuses are the humanitarians of the world, but they're also like they're like, yo, they're also like the rule breakers. They are they're about freedom.
Let's see everybody win. Like there's nobody that's higher or lower. Like we're just all
Right.
people.
We're
Like
all amazing.
we're
You know what I'm
all
saying? We're all
people. Like
great.
exactly, exactly. And it's the innovator. It comes up
Yeah.
with those ideas. Like okay, I want to say Aquarius is more so of like let's focus on the solution and not
Yeah.
the problem.
Uh-huh.
And so it's quickly coming up with the strategies and the ideas to get us to that solution. It's focused on that, and not necessarily always just laser it. Oh, this is a problem, and just hammering on the problem, the problem, the problem. It's like no, like let's bring in a solution and let's fix
Solution.
this,
I
right?
love
We're going to
that.
see a lot of power shifting
Mhm.
into the hands of the people on the individual level, and we're going to see a lot more collective efforts. People like rallying together. I
Yeah.
thought really quickly about what you said about Capricorn
Mhm.
when you were talking about the top down structure. It was like Capricorn is that energy where you have the leader who's dictating to the rest of the people. Like you do this, you do this,
Right.
you do this, you do that. And in
Mhm.
Aquarius, it's like, okay, we're all gonna sit at this table, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do together. You're gonna
Mhm.
have a role and I'm gonna have a role, and and no one's role is bigger or smaller than
More than
anyone
the
else.
other.
We're
Exactly.
all collectively coming together and putting our minds together to create something much grander than we could individually. And that's the beauty of Aquarius energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. When I
Yep.
also think of Aquarius too, I think New Age, right? And we think about this era that we're in, the Aquarius age.
Yeah.
We think about technology that's probably going to be coming out this year. We have the emergence of AI that kind of like last year. In this year is really about to take over in a new way. Randomly, just made me think. I saw that Tesla's working on this robot that's like folding clothes. You know what I mean? And so,
Gosh, I need one of those in
you
my
know what I'm
life. I cannot stand folding clothes. So listen, I'm gonna be the first one to buy that.
Yeah, like listen, because this is what the AI should be used for, right? Like
Right.
we think about the fears of the Terminator experience, but like if we use AI in a proper way, it can make our lives easier. And I think one of the beautiful things, just personally, about AI that I love is it's going to be able to make tasks a lot easier, like putting on the clothes, and automating your systems, and helping you come up with ideas, helping you proofread. Everything is there for you to use in that sense. So this year is going to be, I would imagine, a lot of that to the forefront, mainstream wise. Everyone's talking about Chat BT to the point now where I'm seeing ads about where you can build a business. People are like charging people to teach you how to use a business using Chat GPT, which is free, which is dope. But you know what I'm saying? So I think about all of that coming in. So what a great way to start the year,
These
right?
flashes of genius that are gonna come in. They're not gonna come in
I
from
love that.
us as people. They're gonna come in from beyond us, and we're just the mediums or the channels that
Channels
it's
for
being
it.
expressed through.
Thank you for saying that. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. I just want to add something real quick, just so to empower the people out there. Like, as B is saying, this is going to be a fast moving year. So for those of you who feel down and out, for those of you who like maybe left your job and you're trying to figure it out, you're like, yo, I know that this doesn't work for me anymore. Those of you who are making changes for the better, and you're like, I feel like I need to be doing I don't know, this business. I don't know how I'm going to get it off the ground. Understand, just put the energy and take the steps that you need to make, and the universe will reward you with the speed and the quickness. You can go viral just like that. We're in a viral era.
Yeah.
All it takes is one video, one soundbite, one person, one celebrity to get a taste of your food, or to see your clothing line and
Mhm.
rock it. And all of a sudden, boom, you popping out here.
Right.
So don't be afraid. Step into your power. This is the year to do that. I'm telling you.
So then the next thing that I will say, and I like I said, it's a year of air and fire. All of our Mercury retrogrades are in fire signs, except for so in April we have a Mercury retrograde in Aries, fire. In August we have one in Leo, and it regresses back into Virgo. And then in November, December, we have another Mercury retrograde that's in Sagittarius. Okay. So again, our energy, fire represents energy. All the Mercury retrograde, which has to do with your mind and your communication and all that. Again, think about everything that we're saying. It's going to be a lot of mental. It's going to be a lot of mental. So the energy being fast moving and you're going to have to be decisive. You're going to have to know exactly where you're aiming your arrow. We also have a Mars retrograde in fire, another fire sign. So we're going to have a Mars retrograde, and Mars again is about our energy, our determination, our leadership, our ability to initiate and take action. And that's going to be happening in the sign of Leo and December. Okay. And that's going to be leading us into 2025. Our eclipses this year are all in air and fire, except for one. So in March, we have a lunar eclipse in Libra, air sign. That has a lot to do with balance, fairness, justice, all of that. Then we have another one in April, which is a solar eclipse, and that's a total solar eclipse, and that's going to be in Aries. Again, fire sign. September, we're having another lunar eclipse. This one's going to be in Pisces, but we also have to keep in mind that Neptune is going to be on its last leg of Pisces. So there's something that's happening there because Neptune's moving into Aries, a fire sign, right? So we got to pay attention to that. And then October, we're going to have another solar eclipse, an annular solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So again, air sign. So when I tell you air and fire is fueling this year, I'm not joking. Like, everything is pointing to that. The next major thing that we have is that Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. That's the big boy for 2024 in terms of energy. So we
Uranus getting involved, boy.
Yes. We have Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in the sign of Taurus. And we,
let's
so I mean, you're laughing, so I'd love to hear kind of what's on your mind when I say that.
Listen, so when I think about Taurus, I think about value. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, one of the big themes or empowers for us going into this year if we're going to use this energy. You got to know your value this year, fam. So there's going to be a lot of, when I hear Uranus in interaction with that, that means there's going to be a lot of changes in how things are viewed or seen, et cetera. And there's probably going to be some things with the weather and stuff too.
Yeah.
Except I'm sure you're going to unpack that. But that's what immediately made me think like, ooh, values are going to start coming into question, like what we value externally and probably internally too, right? Like, I don't know. Am I in the right area of that?
So Uranus, we just talked about Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. And it is also the one that brings sudden shifts and change, like unexpected things that just, it comes and turns things all. You ever see a tornado come and just kind of through the town? And when you look, you're like, wow, that happened so quickly and everything's upside down. But the way that Uranus works in that regard is it's doing that. It's kind of like, it looks chaotic and it looks like it's just upending everything, but it is to put everything like right side up. So that means it's kind of bulldozing a new way. And with it being in the sign of Taurus, and it's been there for a while now, it's been, like you said, it's been revolutionizing or changing our values, our value system, collectively and individually. It has been, changing kind of the earth. And we can see that in just how the weather patterns have been, how our food has been, how, our money, it rules resources because Taurus is earth energy. So all of our resources from food to oil, to air, to water, to anything that has to do with a resource, to precious metals, All of that has been, turned on its head, and it's been changed. And like I said at the beginning, like even something as simple as money went from being very physical and something that we used to collect and have like a tangible value that we used to like, look how it changed over the years to now, having credit cards, and then it went from credit cards to now touch to pay, and now you have these cashless systems, and now you're having these like crypto coins and stuff like that it's come from something that was very tangible, like real coins and dollars that you can hold in your hand, to stuff that you can't even see anymore. So it's definitely, this is an example of Uranus moving through Taurus. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It will expand things. So a lot of the things that we have been seeing will kind of, and Jupiter's been moving through Taurus, right? So we've been seeing these things kind of rapidly increasing in certain ways, but once those two touch together, it's like, so this could be as little as seeing like major advancements or changes, like really, really front and center in terms of our money and our resources. We have no idea what kind of information is going to come out around resources or food or different things around that time, weather patterns, earthquakes, different things going on with the earth. Also, like the value system, what do we collectively agree upon that we value as a society, as people, as communities? That's also going to be changing. So Jupiter also can help us, different things take off. Like you've seen, like the crypto market, for example, has been very up and down because that's what Uranus is. It's you don't know what to expect. One day it's up, one day it's down, one day it's left, one day it's right. It doesn't really stabilize anything. So we can see big gains, big losses. We can see a lot happening in that direction. So this also, because Uranus is about revolutionary energy in terms of rebellion and stuff, we can see things pop up in terms of like revolting, or people coming to like we don't want this anymore, and we're gonna speak up and stand up and say something about it. So we could see things happening in that regard. So there's so many things that can go down with the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. So we just have to wait and see.
We do have to wait and see. And if we've looked at how the year has gone so far, it's very interesting. I mean, not to get too much with the social media stuff, but we look at like the whole Cat Williams interview and how viral that went, right? Like speaking of revolution, change, the power structure changing, right? The people are in these so-called cabals or whatever, the gatekeepers, and man, there's going to be a lot of revelations in that too, I feel like. So a lot of truth is going to be put out there that we weren't expecting as well. So yeah, with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus all together, man, it's going to be a very interesting time.
Grounding is going to be incredibly important this year. You have to ground, because the energy is going to be fast-paced and erratic in moments. And if you don't have something that you're grounded, or some way that you're anchored, you're just going to be blown around in the wind of the tornado, So you don't want to get caught up in that type of storm, But like you said, this is air energy. Air energy is about knowledge and communication. So expect a lot of things that have been coming to the forefront. It's like the way 2023 ended and the way 2024 started, like all of the revelations that were coming out on like these platforms like social media or the news, and you're just like, oh my gosh, all of this has been happening behind the scenes. All of this stuff is going to continue to be revealed. Like people are going to have that energy, is going to be expanded upon, because again, this is air and fire, and people are going to have the courage, the determination, the willpower to step up and speak the truth and share knowledge.
Wow, I love that. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about this. It just again reminds me, to this encompassing theme of make sure that you're giving the energy to the things that you want to see happen. So if you want to see revolution and change, but what is the change that you want to see in the world? Do you want more peace in the world? Do you want more love? You know what I'm saying? Or do you want to focus on destruction and separation? Like whatever it is that you want to focus on, that's what you're gonna get. So again, people, stay grounded, like B is saying, meditate. It's gonna be important, and just be grounded within yourself. Be solid in your values of who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Big facts. Wow, powerful. So what else we got?
So coming down the line, like again with this theme of air and fire energy, we have Jupiter. Yeah, more fire. So Jupiter, again, we talked about Jupiter after it conjuncts Uranus in April, right? In the sign of Taurus. It then leaves Taurus in May and goes into Gemini, air sign. Yeah. And what do we know about Gemini? Geminis are our intellectuals,
the thinkers, communicators.
Thinkers are communicators. Also very scattered too, because there's a lot going on there at once, a lot of ideas, a lot of things. So Jupiter and Gemini is going to expand upon all these things. Communication is going to be big. So honestly, to see with Pluto in Aquarius and Jupiter in Gemini, I don't know, we might be seeing some like major platform or major technology or something around communication.
Transformation around that,
the way that happens, we might be seeing something like that come out during that time. It can be a very good time to communicate with others, to get information out, especially for those people who have a calling or whose mission is to communicate with the masses in certain ways, right? Writing, speaking, there's different forms of communication. So, taking advantage of that. But yeah, Gemini is also about the polarity, the duo, the balance, the twins. It's representative of the twins, right?
Yes.
Keeping that in mind as well. So that energy, the energy can be erratic and in moments, but if we know how to, capitalize and focus, it can be very advantageous for us too.
I love that. Intuitively, what I think about emotionally that could happen is it probably would be a really interesting time for people who suppress a lot, who don't speak up. You're probably gonna be at the point where you're so the fire's been kind of like lit under you and you just can't hold it anymore. So you're just gonna speak out and you're gonna start, you know what I'm saying, letting people have it, like type energy. Like
right.
We're gonna be like, that's how you felt about me this whole time. Why you ain't saying nothing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So just be prepared for that, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't fight it anymore. Like the energy supports you, I feel like, in that, right? With Pluto being, death, rebirth, transformation, you know what I'm saying? And with Uranus being unpredictable, Uranus, however you're supposed to say it. And then Gemini, of course, being the fact that you're how you think, communicate, air sign, intelligence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Use that energy, Use that. It's a great time to maybe write a book or just, illustrate, draw, sketch, be in your creativity in that sense. Because as you mentioned Gemini, I immediately start to think some of our most brilliant artists are Geminis.
Absolutely.
Lamar and many, many others are all Geminis. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not just, like Bev was saying, it's a form of expression in many ways, writing, singing, rapping, whatever that looks like for you, but use that energy for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? This is how you biohack these energies and make it work for you. You know what I mean? You're not a slave to whatever the astrology is saying. It's about empowering yourself and knowing I can hack this energy and use this to do that.
Yeah.
Like, why not? So I just want to remind people of that.
Yeah. I will also remind people that beyond information and communication, Gemini is also the ruler of the third house, which has a lot to do with your community, your local community. So honestly, the community aspect too can be coming into forefront. How do we rally together as community in order to rise and stuff like that? So I think a community focus and seeing maybe, I don't know,
changes.
See how the community, how we think about communities and kind of what is forming around different communities, how that, that progresses or reveals itself over 2020.
I love that. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Mars conjunct Uranus. is the next thing up after Jupiter and Gemini. So again, Mars is going to be in Taurus with Uranus. And what do we know of Mars?
Mars is the Kickstarter. Mars is the igniter to the gas and the fumes.
Yeah.
Like, that trying to blow something up. You know what I'm saying?
Mars is the ultimate hype man. It's like, oh, you ready to burn this building down? Okay, I got matches.
You gonna let him step on your shoes like that, bro?
Right, you gonna make him let him step on your shoes? Or no, we gotta go check him now. Or you ready to start this business? Okay, let's go. Like Mars can be used constructively or destructively. You choose, right? Well, but Uranus is already erratic and unexpected and kind of does its own thing and rebellious. So what happens when you have Mars, who can be an instigator, with Uranus, who's already rebellious? You get more of that, right? So it can expand that.
So I want to empower people as they watch this to understand that, like, some of this can sound like, oh my God, what do you mean, like this and that's going to happen? It's going to work out for our benefit, right? Remember that change. In order for things to change, sometimes chaos needs to happen. Things need to be destroyed in order for new to come in, right? Absolutely. Out with the old, in with the new, right? You can't keep filling your closet if you have a whole bunch of clothes, right? Sometimes you got to get rid of stuff, right? You got to get rid of the old stuff that don't work. And that's what, it doesn't work. And that's the energy that we're in. So let's start to move collectively out of the old ways of doing things that don't work for us anymore. The top-down structures, the belittling people, the not feeling, equal, etc. Not knowing your sense of value, putting your value into material things, right? Instead of intrinsic value, which has been something I think that many of us, especially in Western society, ignore. Right. So this is great change. Like, I'm so excited, bro. It might be uncomfortable at moments, but like, it's all about how you view it in your perspective. It's going to be a great year, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all.